Welcome to our channel. Today we are discussing the interesting subject of unlocking Africa's economic potential, a geopolitical perspective. Africa, a continent of 54 diverse nations, stands at the crossroads of unprecedented economic potential and complex geopolitical challenges. With its vast natural resources, young population, and emerging markets, Africa is poised to become a major player in the global economy. However, the path to unlocking this potential is far from straightforward. In this video, we'll delve into the intricate web of factors shaping Africa's economic landscape. From the influence of global powers to the transformative impact of technology, we'll explore the key drivers of growth and the obstacles that must be overcome. Our journey will take us through the current economic landscape, geopolitical influences shaping the continent, emerging trends and opportunities, challenges and obstacles to growth, and future prospects and recommendations. So, join us as we unravel the complexities of Africa's economic future and discover the immense opportunities that lie ahead. Current economic landscape. Africa's economic story is one of contrasts and rapid change. As of 2023, the continent's combined GDP stands at approximately $2.7 trillion, with an average annual growth rate of 3.8% over the past decade. This growth, while impressive, masks significant disparities between regions and countries. Sub-Saharan Africa, for instance, has seen robust growth in countries like Ethiopia, Ghana, and Kenya, driven by sectors such as agriculture, services, and manufacturing. Meanwhile, North African economies like Egypt and Morocco have benefited from strategic locations and diversified economic bases. The continent's economic structure is evolving. While traditional sectors like agriculture and extractive industries remain significant, there's a notable shift towards services and manufacturing. The services sector, including telecommunications and financial services, now accounts for over 50% of GDP in many African countries. However, it's crucial to note the stark contrasts across the continent. While countries like South Africa and Nigeria boast relatively advanced economies, others, particularly in the Sahel region, continue to struggle with poverty and underdevelopment. Geopolitical influences. The economic trajectory of Africa is significantly shaped by global and regional powers, each vying for influence and opportunities on the continent. China's role. China has emerged as a major player in Africa's economic landscape. Through its Belt and Road Initiative, China has invested heavily in infrastructure projects across the continent. From railways in Kenya to ports in Djibouti, Chinese investments have transformed Africa's physical landscape. However, this engagement is not without controversy. Critics argue that China's approach, often termed debt trap diplomacy, may lead to unsustainable debt levels for African nations. Supporters, on the other hand, point to the tangible development outcomes and the alternative these investments provide to traditional Western-dominated financial institutions. Western powers. The United States and the European Union continue to play significant roles in Africa's economic development. Their approach often emphasizes governance, human rights, and market-based reforms. The U.S., through initiatives like Prosper Africa, aims to increase two-way trade and investment. The EU, with its EU-Africa partnership, focuses on sustainable development and economic integration. These Western powers often find themselves in competition with China, leading to what some analysts call a new scramble for Africa. This competition, while potentially beneficial in terms of increased investment, also poses challenges for African nations in balancing these competing interests. Regional powers. Within Africa, countries like South Africa and Nigeria play crucial roles as regional economic powerhouses. South Africa, with its advanced financial markets and diversified economy, often serves as a gateway for international investment into the continent. Nigeria, Africa's most populous country and largest economy, wields significant influence, particularly in West Africa. Its vast oil reserves and growing tech sector make it a key player in the continent's economic future. These regional powers are instrumental in shaping economic policies and driving integration efforts across the continent. Emerging trends and opportunities. Technological advancements. Technology is rapidly transforming Africa's economic landscape, offering innovative solutions to long-standing challenges. The growth of mobile technology has been nothing short of revolutionary. With over 1 billion mobile subscribers, Africa has leapfrogged traditional telecommunications infrastructure. This mobile revolution has spawned a host of innovations, from mobile banking to e-health services. Fintech, in particular, has seen explosive growth. Companies like M-Pesa in Kenya have revolutionized financial inclusion, allowing millions of unbanked Africans to participate in the formal economy. Renewable energy technologies also hold immense promise. With abundant solar and wind resources, many African countries are positioning themselves at the forefront of the green energy revolution. This not only addresses energy access issues but also creates new economic opportunities. Demographic dividend. Africa's young and rapidly growing population presents both a challenge and an opportunity. With 60% of its population under the age of 25, Africa is the world's youngest continent. This youth bulge has significant implications for labor markets. As these young people enter the workforce, they have the potential to drive economic growth through increased productivity and innovation. However, this potential can only be realized if sufficient job opportunities are created. The growing youth population also represents a massive consumer market. As incomes rise, consumer spending is expected to reach $2.5 trillion by 2030, creating vast opportunities for businesses. To harness this demographic advantage, African countries must invest heavily in education and skills development. Programs that focus on entrepreneurship and digital skills are particularly crucial in preparing youth for the jobs of the future. Regional integration. The African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, launched in 2021, represents a landmark step towards regional integration. By creating a single market of 1.3 billion people, AfCFTA has the potential to boost intra-African trade, currently at just 16% of total trade. Efforts to improve cross-border infrastructure are also gaining momentum. Projects like the Trans-African Highway Network aim to connect major cities across the continent, facilitating trade and movement. Regional economic communities, such as the East African Community, EAC, and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, play crucial roles in fostering integration. These bodies are working to harmonize policies and remove barriers to trade and investment. Challenges and obstacles. Governance and corruption. Political instability and weak governance continue to be significant obstacles to economic growth in many African countries. Frequent changes in government, coupled with policy inconsistencies, create an uncertain environment for businesses and investors. Corruption remains a pervasive issue, siphoning off resources that could otherwise be used for development. The African Union estimates that 25% of the continent's GDP is lost to corruption annually. However, there are encouraging signs of progress. Countries like Rwanda and Botswana have implemented successful governance reforms, leading to improved economic outcomes. These success stories demonstrate the positive impact of strong institutions and transparent governance on economic growth. Infrastructure gaps. Inadequate infrastructure remains a major bottleneck for Africa's economic development. The African Development Bank estimates that the continent's infrastructure financing needs amount to $130 to $170 billion annually, with a financing gap of $68 to $108 billion. Poor transportation networks increase the cost of doing business and hinder regional integration. Similarly, unreliable energy supply hampers industrial development and everyday economic activities. However, significant investments are being made to bridge this gap. The Programme for Infrastructure Development in Africa, PIDA, supported by the African Union, aims to develop a web of 37,200 kilometers of highways, 30,200 kilometers of railways, and 16,500 kilometers of interconnected power lines by 2040. Human capital development. Despite progress in recent years, education and skills development remain critical challenges. Many African countries struggle with low literacy rates and inadequate technical and vocational training. The brain drain phenomenon, where highly skilled individuals leave for opportunities abroad, further compounds this issue. This exodus of talent deprives African economies of crucial human capital needed for development. However, there are promising initiatives across the continent. Countries like Ghana and Kenya have implemented free secondary education policies, while others are focusing on digital skills training to prepare youth for the jobs of the future. Future prospects and recommendations. Investment opportunities. Several sectors in Africa present compelling investment opportunities. Agriculture, with only 25% of Africa's arable land currently cultivated, offers immense potential for growth. The tech sector, particularly in hubs like Nairobi and Lagos, is attracting increasing venture capital. Renewable energy, infrastructure, and manufacturing are other sectors poised for growth. The African Development Bank's Industrialize Africa initiative aims to double the continent's industrial GDP by 2025. Foreign direct investment, FDI, will play a crucial role in realizing these opportunities. While FDI inflows have been volatile in recent years, they are expected to recover and grow, driven by improving business environments and regional integration efforts. Policy recommendations. To unlock Africa's economic potential, policymakers should focus on strengthening governance and anti-corruption measures, investing in education and skills development, particularly in STEM fields, accelerating digital transformation and technological adoption, improving the ease of doing business to attract more FDI, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship through supportive policies and funding mechanisms. International partnerships will be crucial in supporting these efforts. Initiatives like the US's Power Africa and the EU's External Investment Plan can provide valuable resources and expertise. Long-term outlook. The long-term economic outlook for Africa is promising, albeit with caveats. The World Bank projects that by 2050, the continent's GDP could reach $29 trillion, potentially surpassing the combined GDP of the EU and US. However, realizing this potential will require addressing the challenges we've discussed and ensuring that growth is both sustainable and inclusive. Climate change, in particular, poses a significant threat to Africa's long-term economic prospects and must be factored into all development strategies. Conclusion. As we've explored in this video, Africa stands at a pivotal moment in its economic journey. With its young population, abundant resources, and emerging technologies, the continent has the potential to become a major driver of global economic growth in the coming decades. However, realizing this potential will require addressing significant challenges, from governance issues to infrastructure gaps. It will also necessitate navigating complex geopolitical dynamics and harnessing the power of regional integration. The future of Africa's economy is not predetermined. It will be shaped by the choices made by African leaders, the support of the international community, and the ingenuity of African entrepreneurs and innovators. As viewers, we encourage you to stay informed about Africa's economic developments, consider the investment opportunities the continent presents, and support initiatives that promote sustainable and inclusive growth in Africa. The African economic story is still being written, and its next chapters promise to be among the most exciting in the global economy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with your friends who may have an interest in exploring Africa. Now, we'd like to hear your comments. Have you been to Africa or have plans to visit? We would love to hear your comments. Share your comments in the comments section below. If you like this video, you will love our videos on expat essentials, living in Johannesburg and Durban, South Africa, and expat life in Ghana, the dark truth. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Africa's economic potential. See you on our next video.